What is up, everybody? It is JT Sports. I am back to you guys with another video. In this video, I am here with my AFC West 2021 NFL draft grades. Going to be giving my draft grades for all the teams in the AFC West. If you haven't seen my previous draft grades that we've done for the AFC North, the AFC South, and the AFC East, make sure to go ahead and check those out. There will be a playlist popping up for you guys to go ahead and check those out. And this is the last division that we have to talk about in the AFC before we move on to the NFC. So before I get into it, make sure that you guys like the video and subscribe to the channel. Listen, I upload some of the best offseason content on YouTube. After the NFL draft, it's really a hassle for a lot of people to figure out things to talk about. Not for me. I go in-depth team by team, breaking down position groups, breaking down what to expect from new head coaches, new coordinators, breakout players for all 32 NFL teams. Listen, I upload some of my best content from May to August, which is considered the dead period of the NFL because not a lot of news is coming out and not a lot of things are going on. So if you are a diehard football fan and you love football just as much as I love football, this is the channel for you because we talk about football 24/7, rather is it NFL, and we also talk about college football as well. So make sure that you guys go ahead and subscribe to the channel because you don't want to miss some of the fire content that I'm about to be putting out over the next couple of months. So let's start off with the LA Chargers. The LA Chargers had a really phenomenal draft, okay? At 13th overall, you got Rashawn Slater. If you were a Chargers fan, you knew that you were taking the tackle, but pretty much you were expecting the Chargers to take Christian Darrisaw out of Virginia Tech because you didn't think either Rashawn Slater or Penny Sewell would have been available 13th overall. Well, Rashawn Slater falls all the way to 13. He drops out of the top 10. Surprisingly, I thought the New York Giants would have, tried to get him, but they ended up trading down. So the fact that you were able to get Rashawn Slater is a huge win for not only you, but also Justin Herbert as well. And this offensive line is really coming along. I'm really excited for the LA Chargers and how good this offense is going to be heading into this season. I think the LA Chargers could be a sleeper team that a lot of people aren't really talking about with their new head coach. Okay, then in the second round, 47th overall, you need another corner. Okay, Chris Harris Jr., he's getting up there in age. Who's going to be the next guy that you line up on the opposite side of him? Well, that's going to be Asante Samuel Jr., and yes, he is the son of former Pro Bowl corner Asante Samuel. This guy is really small. He's like 5'10", like 185 pounds or something like that. But don't worry about his size. Don't worry about his weight because this guy does get after it. This guy is very physical. He isn't scared to make a tackle. Like, this isn't your typical small, undersized, small corner. Like, this guy is really physical despite what the paper says about his size. This dude plays a lot bigger than what his size may indicate. This guy isn't afraid to make a tackle. He isn't afraid to get his hands dirty. I like Asante Samuel Jr. a lot, and I was surprised that he didn't even go in the end of the second round. I most definitely thought Green Bay would have jumped at the chance to take Asante Samuel Jr. And Asante Samuel Jr., although on paper he may not look like an outside corner, he definitely can be a very phenomenal outside corner. Not just phenomenal, he can also end up being one of the best outside cornerbacks in the NFL. He also can be a really good slot corner as well. Then 77th overall, you take wide receiver Josh Palmer out of Tennessee, who was a little bit of a sleeper. Then my favorite pick when it comes to defense side of the ball, okay, you get linebacker / edge rusher Chris Rumph II out of Duke. Has a lot of length, has a little bit of a scrawny frame for what you want out of a pass rusher, but with the loss of Melvin Ingram, you're looking at some more depth there. You're looking at a guy with high upside that if you can develop, can end up giving you like 7-8 sacks a year if he meets his ceiling. I think the LA Chargers had a really good draft. I gave them an A. Moving on to the Kansas City Chiefs. So the Kansas City Chiefs had a good draft as well, and they didn't really have a lot of picks, but the few picks they had, okay, you select Creed Humphrey out of Oklahoma, 63rd overall. He's drastically going to improve your offensive line. Your offensive line was already coming along, okay? You already got Long. You already traded for Orlando Brown. You already got Joe Thuney. And now you have Creed Humphrey. Then on top of that, in the 6th round, they got Trey Smith. Everybody, for some reason, keeps saying Trey Smith is a little bit of a project player. I don't see it. He was without a doubt the best offensive lineman on Tennessee. He was one of the best offensive guards in the SEC. Like, I don't really get what people are saying when they say Trey Smith is the developmental project. Like, I don't really think he is. Like, does he have things he has to work on? Yes, but every NFL prospect has things they have to work on. There's no perfect prospect in the draft, okay? It's never going to be a perfect prospect. I wouldn't be surprised, and you Kansas City Chiefs fans better not be surprised if you see Trey Smith starting week 1 come the regular season for Kansas City, because I am really high on Trey Smith. He was one of my highest ranked offensive guards in this draft class. I like him a lot. It was a shock to see him fall 6th overall to Kansas City. Well, 6 in the 6th round to Kansas City. Really good value there. That absolutely was a steal. Then you get Nick Bolton out of Missouri, who was your first selection. Okay, he was somebody who kind of dropped a little bit because of the emergence of guys like Jamin Davis and whatnot. But Nick Bolton is also pretty good as well. He can most definitely be starting for Kansas City at linebacker. So when you look at this draft class, and I can't even forget wide receiver Cornell Powell as well, this guy is a really solid wide receiver. So for Kansas City, you had a really good draft. And now with the additions of Creed Humphrey and offensive guard Trey Smith, you now have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. You may have a top 5, top 10 offensive line for sure. Your offensive line is definitely better right now after the draft than what it was after the Super Bowl, because Kansas City's offensive line wasn't great, okay? Like, yeah, your top positions with Eric Fisher and Mitchell Schwartz were solid, but you didn't really have any good guys in the interior. Now, what did they do? They addressed the interior of that offensive line. Now they just have to find one more offensive tackle, and Kansas City is going to be my pick to end up going right back to the Super Bowl for the 3rd straight year in a row. We got to talk about the Las Vegas Raiders. Let me take a deep breath real quick, man, because first of all, is there a Las Vegas Raiders fan out there that can please come down in the comment section and try to explain to me what Mike Mayock and John Gruden are doing when it comes to the draft? Like, I don't understand their approach to the draft at all, okay? Like, you reach for Alex Leatherwood, didn't make any sense. You could have got him in the 2nd round, late in the 1st round, okay? Like, I didn't understand that pick, okay? Then I'm like, okay, let me see what they do after. Okay, you started off selecting safety Trayvon Mooreg, Jonathan Abram can't really stay healthy. I understand that. That's a really good selection. Then you select Edge Rush out of Buffalo, Malcolm Kuntz out of... Okay, I like that. I like that. Out of all the underrated edge rushers that were available, I think Malcolm Kuntz probably was the best one. Then after this is where things really start to get confusing. You already drafted Trayvon Mooreg. You brought back Carl Joseph in free agency. You already have a bunch of safeties. So why are you selecting 2 more safeties, Divine Diablo out of Virginia Tech and Tyreek Gillespie out of Missouri, back to back? Like, you took 3 safeties and you already have a bunch of safeties already on your roster. I am really confused. Can one of these guys play corner? Are you going to try to make one of these guys play corner? Are you going to move one of these guys to linebacker? Because you need a linebacker. You need a coverage linebacker. Another one at that. And you didn't even draft the linebacker. I don't know what the Raiders are doing. Now, I do like the selection of cornerback Nate Hobbs out of Illinois. I had him as one of my guys, which my guys were some of my favorite prospects. I like Nate Hobbs a lot. I think he's better than Damon Arnett. So you look at this Las Vegas Raiders draft, man, and I'm just walking away really, really confused. As a matter of fact, me giving them a D+ is me being nice, because the more I talk about this draft class, the more I want to give them a D. Like, I feel like they had one of the worst drafts this year. Now, obviously, if some of these guys end up popping off and end up being really good, because one thing about the Raiders, they are really great when it comes to selecting 1st-round picks. Like, their best 1st-round pick was Josh Jacobs, but aside from him, haven't really had that much luck. But they're normally pretty good drafting after the 1st round, okay? Like, some of their best players on their team, oddly enough, weren't drafted in the 1st round. So they're really good finding good players after the 1st round. But, I mean, like, this draft, man, like, you took 3 safeties, man. Like, I really don't understand it when you already loaded at safety. So I don't know. Maybe they're going to be running more nickel. Maybe they're going to be running a 3-3-5 or something like that. I don't know, man. But I'm walking away from this draft really confused. The Las Vegas Raiders get a C+. This is the lowest grade I've given somebody right now. This is the lowest graded draft that I've given any team in the AFC. Don't really understand what Mike Mayock and John Gruden are trying to do there. I understand you need to improve the defense, but you took 3 safeties in one draft class when you already lowered that safety. Like, they have like a bunch of safeties on their roster. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Now we got to talk about the Denver Broncos. I give the Denver Broncos a B+. I felt like they had a pretty solid draft. You got Patrick Surtain, 9th overall. They passed over Justin Fields. Are they going to regret passing up on Justin Fields? I'm going to be making a video about that in the next couple of days. Another reason to subscribe to the channel. But then you get halfback Javonte Williams, which I'll say about 30% of the draft community considered Javonte Williams to be the best halfback in this draft class over Najee Harris and Travis Etienne. So you get a guy who you now can pair up with Melvin Gordon. And now you got a good 1-2 punch there. Then you select offensive guard Quentin Mertz out of Wisconsin Whitewater. Okay, he was one of the better small school prospects in this draft class. Okay, he should be able to come in and start on the already really good offensive line that Denver possesses. Then you get safety Jamar Johnson out of Indiana, which was one of the highest graded cover safeties by Pro Football Focus. Don't really like going on Pro Football Focus that much, but Jamar Johnson was an absolute stud when he played for Indiana. He definitely was a gem. Then you get Kerry Vincent Jr. in the 7th round. He can play slot corner and he can play safety as well. Then you get Seth Williams, who is going to be a great jump ball wide receiver who fits what Drew Lock loves to do, because Drew Lock has one of the best arms in the NFL and he likes to throw the ball deep. So I think the Broncos had a solid draft class. I'm going to give them a B+. So this is it for my AFC West 2021 NFL draft grades. Let me know what you guys think about them down in the comment section down below. Make sure that you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel.